Generation Z is the generation born between the mid-1990s and the early 2010s, and as of 2023, it is in the age group of around 12 to 28. This generation, also known as digital natives and social media natives, has more distinctive values than traditional young people, such as an efficiency-oriented focus on TIPA, or time performance, a strong peer orientation, an emphasis on personal life rather than work, and an emphasis on diversity. Generation Z is mainly referred to in Europe and the United States, and refers to the next generation after Generation Y and Millennials, who were born from the mid-1990s to the early 2010s. In Japan, it is called the digital native generation as the next generation, after the generation of pressure-free education. Generation Z was born and raised during the time when smartphones and social media became popular, and it was natural for them to have access to mobile devices and interact with each other through social media when they were able to understand social life. They are also referred to as the generation grown out of the pressure-free education, but in fact, they have well-received education regarding social contributions, the environment, and diversity, which were emphasized during the pressure-free education. It is also a generation that continues to think of others as others and oneself as oneself. Furthermore, people in this generation have been living in a low-growth era and a superaging society since birth and are pessimistically aware of the burden of the future. Therefore, values tend to be conservative, and importance is placed on harmony with people and the existing social order. Among them, there is a sense of stability in trying to get along on prescribed paths without making conflicts. Because they have conservative values, they also have a strong tendency to maintain a sense of consumption, whereby they don't want to fail, so they collect information well in advance and consume selectively. On the other hand, compared to the older generation, it is also distinctive that they have a sanctuary and push for consumption, such as spending money on people, things, and goods they like. It is often said that they are sensitive about time performance in addition to cost performance. Generation Z, that is accustomed to the collective wisdom of the web, shares the failures and successes of others, and they are highly productive and efficient in reaching goals. In terms of consumer awareness and behavior, it is distinctive that they place more importance on user evaluation than on official information issued by companies, and actively exchange information among consumers by sending out evaluations of products and services in their own way. Experiences of, "I'm glad I bought it," and "it was a failure to have bought it," are shared on the web. Characteristics of communication include a tendency to be reluctant to assert oneself with others except peers who understand them, and not to express opinions if they don't see ground for approval. Open and easygoing human relationships are important to encourage Generation Z's likes for excelling and showing strong expertise and ability. In terms of work, they don't like vague and impersonal instructions, tacit understandings like, "this is how it should be," or unwritten rules. As of 2023, Generation Z in Japan accounts for less than 15% of the total population, which is small, but in the future, they will experience many life events such as marriage, raising children, and buying a house. In addition to being willing to spend money on things they love, they are considered to be active consumers at a turning point in their lives, and are attracting attention as consumers. They are also the generation that will support Japan in the future as workers. As human capital is often mentioned these days, the potential of Generation Z is very high. As digital natives, Generation Z shares values and information globally, and there is no gap in common sense due to geographical conditions. They also have high potential for high productivity and efficiency, strong individuality and aspirations, and social contribution and environmental awareness. It will be important for the corporate strategy to understand these distinctive values of Generation Z, and to draw out the potential of people in this generation as consumers and workers.